Washington, an anti-immigration Republican who is a fervent supporter of President Trump announced on Tuesday that he will challenge Senator Bob Casey, Democrat of Pennsylvania, a move that solidifies the president's stamp on the emerging electoral landscape for 2018. The announcement by Representative Lou Barletta gives Republicans a relatively well-known challenger to Mr. Casey as the party tries to take advantage of an electoral map that heavily favors Republicans. But it also shows the political headwinds the Republicans face. The party's base voters remain loyal to the president and his agenda, even as the larger electorate drifts away. Mr. Trump had urged Mr. Barletta to run, and in jumping into a crowded primary field, the 61-year-old congressman buoyed Republicans from the president's wing of the party. He announced his candidacy in a 3-minute biographical campaign video in which he reprised Mr. Trump's slogan, pledging to make Pennsylvania and America great again. His entry into the race comes as national Republicans are working feverishly to recruit candidates. So-called Trump Republicans are emerging in states from Florida, where the Republican governor, Rick Scott, is toying with running against Senator Bill Nelson, to Michigan, where the rock musician Robert James Ritchie, better known as Kid Rock, has dropped hints that he will challenge Senator Debbie Stabenow. Mr. Ritchie, along with Sarah Palin and the right-wing rocker Ted Nugent, paid Mr. Trump a memorable visit to the White House. But if Mr. Trump's backers are enthusiastic about the prospect of increasing their numbers in the Senate, mainstream Republicans are terrified that candidates who cast themselves in the mold of Mr. Trump will cost them seats. In 2 states, Arizona and Nevada, Trump Republicans are making life exceedingly difficult for Republican incumbents by waging primary challenges against them. The party needs to be extremely careful, said Scott Jennings, a Republican strategist in Kentucky who is close to Senator Mitch McConnell, the Republican leader. He warned that if Congress switched hands, Democrats would move to impeach Mr. Trump. You do not want to put yourself in a situation to give the Democrats an opening to ruin this presidency, he said. 34 senators, 25 aligned with the Democrats and 9 Republicans, are up for re-election next year. While Democrats are defending 10 seats in states won by Mr. Trump, only one Republican, Senator Dean Heller of Nevada, is seeking re-election in a state carried by the Democratic presidential nominee, Hillary Clinton. Mr. Heller has drawn a primary contest from Danny Tarkanian, a lawyer and the son of a well-known basketball coach. Mr. Tarkanian, a perennial candidate, has been described as a cheerleader for the Trump White House. In Arizona, Senator Jeff Flake, a Republican who has been harshly critical of Mr. Trump, is being challenged by Kelly Ward, a strongly conservative former state senator and osteopathic physician. Mr. Trump has made no secret that he favors Dr. Ward. Great to see that Dr. Kelly Ward is running against Flake. Jeff Flake, who is weak on borders, crime and a non-factor in Senate. He is toxic. The president wrote on Twitter this month. In his first 7 months as president, Mr. Trump has generally drawn high job approval ratings among Republicans. But a national survey made public Tuesday by the Pew Research Center found that nearly a third of Republicans said they agreed with the president on only a few or no issues, and a majority expressed mixed or negative feelings about his conduct as president. At the same time, the party in power typically loses electoral seats during a midterm election. And while Republicans feel bullish about the prospect of unseating Democrats in red states like Missouri and Indiana, the rise of a divisive core of Trump Republicans may complicate that task, said Jennifer Duffy, who analyzes Senate races for the nonpartisan Cook Political Report. In Maine, for instance, Governor Paul R. LePage, an erratic and irascible Republican in the mold of Mr. Trump, is considering a possible challenge to Senator Angus King, a popular independent who votes with Democrats. In Virginia, Corey Stewart, a close ally of Mr. Trump who lost a Republican primary for governor, is running against Senator Tim Kaine, a Democrat who ran for vice president alongside Mrs. Clinton. If no other Republican emerges, that could tip the race strongly in Mr. Kaine's favor. The map is very favorable to Republicans, yet some of these Trump Republicans are putting Republicans' own seats at risk, and that shouldn't be, Ms. Duffy said. Ms. Duffy characterized Republican recruiting efforts for 2018 as a mixed bag. In Indiana, where Senator Joe Donnelly is among the most vulnerable Democrats in the nation, Republicans have two strong candidates, Representatives Todd Rokita and Luke Messer. Mr. Rokita has strongly embraced Mr. Trump, Mr. Mess,